Angelina Jolie just broke a 50-year silence with an image so painful it made the entire audience go quiet. At the Santa Barbara Film Festival in February 2025, she described her mother sitting alone in an apartment with two babies, watching her famous ex-husband win an Oscar on live television, with the other woman standing beside him.
He and I will not be speaking anymore.
That one memory rewrites everything we thought we knew about this family, because the affair that destroyed her childhood was only the beginning. What Jon Voight did to his daughter over the next 5 decades will make you question everything you thought you knew about him. Here's what nobody knows. The affair wasn't even the most devastating part. 23 years after abandoning his family, Jon Voight sat in front of television cameras and told the world his own daughter had serious mental problems from infancy. This wasn't some careless comment from a worried father. This was a pattern of public betrayal that repeated itself in 2002, again in 2023, and again in 2024. The same cycle, different decades.
They didn't have a great relationship.
That's an understatement, isn't it?
My mother was a full-time mother. She didn't have much of her own career, her own life, her own experiences, her own, everything was for her children.
The verified timeline starts with understanding who these people were before everything fell apart. Jon Voight in the 1970s wasn't some struggling actor. He was one of the biggest names in Hollywood, Oscar winner for Coming Home, star of Midnight Cowboy and Deliverance. When he married Marceline Bertrand in 1971, she was 21 years old with dreams of becoming a serious actress, training at the Actors Studio under Lee Strasberg. To understand why this matters, you need to understand what Marceline lost. She didn't just lose a marriage, she lost her entire identity. Her career, her dreams, her financial security. She gave up acting completely to raise 2 children alone, while her famous ex-husband's star kept rising.
There was just a lot of fighting and a lot of... So I grew up fighting with him a lot.
Angelina wrote about it in the New York Times in 2020. Her dreams of being an actor faded as she found herself, at the age of 26, raising 2 children with a famous ex who would cast a long shadow on her life. Marceline's 2006 will reveal something even more painful: $180,000 in unpaid spousal support. That number is documented. That betrayal was financial as much as it was emotional, and it lasted for decades. The deception started when Angelina was barely old enough to walk.
And when he did that, my mother and brother stopped talking to him.
Will you ever reconcile with your dad? Do you ever see that happening?
No, absolutely not.
Gone.
Gone.
On 1976, Jon Voight accepts a position as artist in residence at UC Northridge for a production of Hamlet. He casts himself as Hamlet. He casts a young actress named Stacey Pickren as Ophelia. If you've ever been cheated on, you know exactly what happened next. According to Andrew Morton's biography, the affair became known as the Scandal of Northridge. While Marceline was home with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, changing diapers and making bottles and trying to hold her family together, her husband was falling for his co-star. Marceline filed for divorce in 1978 and publicly cited adultery. Voight admitted it years later. His exact words: "I had an affair, and there was a divorce. There was a lot of hurt and anger." Here's where the story gets absolutely wild. Remember this moment, because what happened at the 1979 Oscars shifts the entire story. 1979, the Academy Awards. The biggest night in Hollywood. Jon Voight wins Best Actor for Coming Home. His name is announced. The cameras follow him as he walks to the stage. And standing beside him, holding his arm, smiling for the photographers, isn't his ex-wife. It's Stacey Pickren, the woman he had the affair with, the woman who destroyed his marriage. Now imagine where Marceline was that night. Angelina described this moment publicly for the first time at Santa Barbara in February 2025. Her exact words: "She was in her 20s because she had me when she was very young. She was divorced to a very famous man, and she was home with her babies in an apartment watching him win an Oscar with the other woman." Picture that for a second. A 26-year-old woman, 2 toddlers who don't understand what's happening, a small apartment, a television screen showing her ex-husband having the greatest night of his life with the woman he left her for. Everyone in America celebrating him while she sits alone in the dark. If you've ever watched someone who hurt you succeed while you struggled, you understand exactly what Marceline felt that night. Stacey Pickren went on to appear in 3 more of Voight's films. Marceline never acted again. Beyond the affair, the financial evidence tells its own story. Family nanny Sis Rundle alleged to biographers, "Marceline told me Jon didn't pay child support. I think he was a deadbeat dad." Voight denied this. He claimed he always gave the family large sums of money. Marshalene's 2006 will says something different. $180,000 in unpaid spousal support. That document is real. That number is verified. That's not a father who showed up. Angelina described her childhood without him. I didn't really have a father around. She said he was there for bits of time during holidays or birthdays. Bits of time, that's how she describes her father's presence in her childhood. Not memories, not moments. Bits of time. If you're still skeptical about the pattern, what happened in the year 2000 will change that. March 26, 2000, Angelina Jolie wins Best Supporting Actress for Girl Interrupted. She's 24 years old. She's standing at that podium with an Oscar in her hands, and she says these words, "Dad, you're a great actor, but you're a better father." The audience applauded. The tabloids celebrated. Father and daughter finally reunited. They appeared together at the Lara Croft Tomb Raider premiere in 2001, where he played her on-screen father. Magazine covers showed them smiling, hugging, healed. For anyone who grew up with a difficult parent, you know that hope. That desperate belief that maybe this time things will be different. Maybe the relationship you always wanted is finally possible. Angelina had that hope in 2000. She stood on the biggest stage in Hollywood and told the world her father had changed. This is where everything clicks into place. Because within 18 months of that Oscar speech, Jon Voight would sit in front of cameras and tell the world his daughter had serious mental problems from infancy. The Oscar praise wasn't a happy ending. It was the setup for the worst betrayal yet. August 1st, 2002, the day that ended any chance of this family healing. Jon Voight sits down with Access Hollywood. The cameras are rolling, and his words will stay with you. His exact quote, "I'm brokenhearted because I've been trying to reach my daughter and get her help, and I have failed, and I'm sorry." He continues, "She has serious mental problems, serious emotional problems that I have witnessed very closely." He claims she showed signs of mental illness from infancy. He references her failing marriage to Billy Bob Thornton. He tells the cameras that when he tried to hug her at an event, her security told him to step back. Think about what he chose to do here. His daughter is 27 years old. She's a new mother who just adopted a son from Cambodia. She's going through a divorce. She's vulnerable. And instead of picking up the phone, instead of flying to see her, instead of writing her a letter or reaching out through family, he books a television interview and tells millions of strangers that his daughter is mentally ill. If you've ever had a parent who made your private pain public, you understand exactly what that moment felt like. Here's the part that exposes everything. Pay attention to the dates. The official story is that Jon Voight was a desperate father trying to save his troubled daughter. That explanation falls apart when you look at the timeline. March 2002, Angelina adopts her son Maddox from Cambodia. She's a brand new mother. July 3rd, 2002, Angelina files a legal petition to drop Voight from her name. August 4th, 2002, Jon Voight does the Access Hollywood interview. September 12, 2002, the name change is officially granted. Look at those dates again. She filed to legally remove his name before he went on television. He knew she was cutting him off legally, and his response was to go public with accusations about her mental health. This wasn't intervention. The timeline proves it was retaliation. Angelina's official statement, "After all these years, I have determined that it is not healthy for me to be around my father, especially now that I am responsible for my own child." Her mother, Marshalen, said she was shocked by Voight's comments and that nothing was wrong with her daughter's mental health. Her brother James also dropped the Voight name. The entire family chose to legally separate themselves from him. This wasn't just a family fight that got out of hand. This was a daughter erasing her own identity to escape her father's shadow. Angelina told Premiere magazine in 2004, "My father and I don't speak. I don't hold any anger toward him. I don't believe that somebody's family becomes their blood. Because my son's adopted, and families are earned." She didn't say Jon Voight wasn't her father. She said families are earned. That's not forgiveness. That's a final verdict from a daughter who spent her whole life waiting for a father who never showed up. This isn't just about Angelina Jolie. This is about every person who grew up waiting for a parent to choose them. Every child who watched their mother struggle alone. Every adult who finally realized their parent was never going to change. For 6 years after that interview, they didn't speak, not a single word. And then Marshalen died, January 27th, ovarian and breast cancer. She was 56 years old, the woman who gave up everything, the woman who sat alone watching the Oscars with 2 babies, gone. Angelina called Jon Voight to tell him, here's how she described that conversation. We spoke for about 2 minutes. I wasn't calling to take care of him. I was calling to pass on information. 2 minutes. That's what 6 years of silence became. 2 minutes to tell him the woman he'd betrayed for 30 years was gone. The reconciliation came in the most unexpected way. Christmas 2007. Reportedly at Brad Pitt's encouragement, Angelina reached out to her father again. By 2010, Voight had finally met all 6 grandchildren. He told Daily Mail that one moment changed my whole life. It gave me back my daughter and my family. Angelina was more careful. She told The Hollywood Reporter in 2017, "Jon and I have gotten to know each other through grandchildren now. We've had some difficulties, but through art, we've been able to talk." Then she said something that now sounds like a warning. "We don't really talk politics well. We talk art very well." Pay attention to that phrase about politics, because the pattern repeated itself exactly. The timeline doesn't lie. November 2023, Angelina posts statements calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. November 4th, 2023, Jon Voight posts a 3-minute Instagram video calling her views ignorant. July 2024, Variety publishes a cover story where Voight calls his own daughter influenced by anti-Semitic people. August 2024, Voight goes on Fox News and says Brad Pitt should end this nonsense with Angelina, publicly taking her ex-husband's side. Sources told In Touch Weekly, Jon's loose lips have pushed Angie to cut off communication once more. 2002 was Access Hollywood, 2023 was Instagram, 2024 was Variety and Fox News. The decades change, the platforms change, the pattern never does. Every time she tried to rebuild something with him, he chose public attention over private healing. What happens now? As of late 2024, Angelina Jolie and Jon Voight are not speaking. He admitted to Fox News that he doesn't talk to his grandchildren as much as he'd like. In that Variety interview, his eyes welled up with tears. He said, "I love my daughter. That's number one." 3 months later, he was on Fox News criticizing her divorce. February 2025, Santa Barbara Film Festival. Angelina finally spoke the memory out loud. The Oscar night. The other woman. Her mother alone with babies. She teared up. The audience went silent. She said quietly, "It was kind of just a part of our family history." That wasn't anger anymore. That was 50 years of grief finally given words. Was Jon Voight a father who made mistakes and desperately wants forgiveness? Or is he someone who chose cameras over his own daughter, decade after decade after decade? Look at the pattern. 1976, an affair while his daughter was 1 year old. 1979, the Oscar with The Other Woman, while Marceline watched alone. National television, declaring his daughter mentally ill. 2023, Instagram attacking her politics. 2024, taking her ex-husband's side in their divorce. Jon Voight is 86 years old now. He has an Oscar, a National Medal of Arts, a title from President Trump. What he doesn't have is a relationship with his daughter or regular time with his 6 grandchildren. Maybe it's coincidence that every reconciliation ended with him in front of cameras. Maybe it's coincidence that he publicly criticized her mental health, her politics, and her divorce across 3 different decades. Or maybe when the cracks are this wide, coincidence stops being an explanation. Angelina finally said what she'd carried for 50 years. The question is whether her father was listening or whether he was already planning his next interview. Drop your thoughts below, because this story isn't over.